Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for your service. And this is something you can tell. I hope we're communicating it. We care passionately about, and it's thoroughly bipartisan. Madam Secretary, in your testimony, you noted the authorized uses of this money. It was first set up in WRDA 1986, Section 210. It was amended a little bit in WRDA 90, Section 316, and you listed the uses. Are there any other authorized uses?
There is a certain percentage, I think it's about $30 million a year, maybe a little more, goes to, as I said, the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Yeah.
And then there's a portion of it that also goes, I think it's anywhere about $3 to $5 million annually that goes to the Treasury and the Customs Service to, for
Right.
the administrative costs of the program.
Right. And I was thinking of that too, but given that entire list, are there any other authorized uses?
No, sir.
And in fact, isn't that money spent on plenty of other things every year that are not those authorized uses?
Senator, the receipts that go directly into the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund through the Treasury, and then the Bureau of Public Debt, which manages 18 different trust funds across the government, then is the dispenser of those funds when our agency says, you know, we've been appropriated this much money, and that is what comes out of the fund.
Doesn't the other money come out of the fund for other unauthorized uses, unrelated uses?
The balance of the funds are invested and accumulate interest, and those funds are then, it's up to the Bureau of Public Debt as to how those funds then are used.
Well, if there is this balance of $6.95 billion, what vault can I go to and look at it? That's what I'm asking, because it doesn't exist. So where can I look at that balance of almost $7 billion? Again,
those are the federal investments in securities for the most part, I understand, and then the interest that accrues on that is what gets you to that balance.
Well, again, this is a big fiction, and I think the first important part of this conversation is to get beyond the fiction. It's the same fiction as the Social Security Trust Fund, because when you go and look at that balance, basically this is what you find. I owe you $6.95 billion. It's gone, it's spent for unrelated purposes. And that's wrong when it's authorized for specific uses under the law. Now, you mentioned this administrative task force looking at water infrastructure, looking at all of this big picture. Is that task force going to come up with a solution that ensures that all of this trust fund money is spent regularly for its intended uses?
I believe that we will be looking at the uses of the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund and how that can help to ensure that the future of the navigation system is adequate. I can't tell you at this point what it is we're going to say or do, but it's something that we will definitely be looking at.
Well, I mean, what you've done previously in that regard is to just want to tremendously expand the uses. Now, there may be some room for that, but you know, if you just expand the uses to all sorts of other things, you don't solve this problem. The same thing happens. That's what's happening now. So is this, let me just repeat the question. I mean, is the task force focused on our central question today, which is ensuring that all of the revenue into the trust fund is spent for authorized uses under statute?
It's one of the issues that will be focused on, Senator. I mean, we will also be looking at the uses for the other trust funds, including the Inland Waterway Trust Fund. I mean, this is a system. It's a navigation system. It's not just a port system. It's an inland waterway system as well that we need to be able to maintain given the other competing uses, as well as what the other agencies, including you know, OMB and the Department of Transportation, as well as Commerce, can bring to the table in looking at it as a system.
Let me ask a related question that I mentioned in my opening statement. A lot of folks, including me, think it's going to take more resources to fully maintain this vital infrastructure that's important for the economy. Do you think it's reasonable to expect the folks affected, like industry, to pay more into anything when it's being diverted, in this case, to unrelated uses?
I don't think that we would expect people to pay more. And I understand, you know, that because the total balance is not being spent in the intended use, that there would be a concern by those paying that tax, that, you know, there be some way to get the return on what it is they're paying for.
I'll close with this. I'm out of time. Well, I think you all have already proposed they're paying more in some instances, like, for instance, lockage fees, just one instance. I'm just pointing out, I think it's a common sense non-starter to even have that discussion if half of the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund is being diverted for unrelated purposes. Thank you very much.